The Tasnim News says the Iranian delegation's trip to Geneva has not been finalized. So keep in mind, in 5 minutes' time now, at the top of the hour, get the US leading index change month over month. Data is for May. Forecast to remain unchanged at 0.1%. So keep in mind the trip of the mediators, US and Iran, to Geneva on Friday was initially to sign the agreement or the MOU, and that has now, of course, already been signed early. So again, we're just seeing some reports coming through now that Pakistan may not be attending, Iran may also not be attending. But again, the point of that trip has already happened. Of course, the agreement being signed last night.
Hello, hello.
So again, confirmation from IRNA saying that the sources are claiming that since the MOU was signed by Iran and the head of the US, the Pakistani side was informed that there was now no need to hold an in-person meeting in Switzerland. So again, confirmation on what was mentioned earlier.
Did I have a good birthday? Yeah, it was good. Pretty chill. Hung out with my brothers all day. Got dinner with the family. Had some yummy food. Yeah, nothing crazy. Bro, Tradeify is taking an hour to load. What is this?
1 minute now for the US leading index change month over month. Ten seconds.
Good reaction off of previous day value low here on ES so far.
Trump on Truth Social says oil is flowing. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. The stock market's roaring, jobs are at records, and prices are dropping. Our country is strong, safe, and respected like never before.
Wow.
So again, just a post from Trump on Truth Social. US leading index change month over month, 0.1% as expected.
Oh, yours loaded? Must be nice. Appreciate it, Jess.
So again, Trump on Truth Social just touting the US's position following the current developments in Iran.
uh,
We have posted the leading index May reports on the feed for those interested.
dude, what is going on with it? Do I need to like completely gut this program from my computer and reinstall? It was fine for a while there. What's weird is the browser version loads instantly. Absolutely instantly. But my setup is awful on the browser version, so I'm not really like trying to run that. I mean, this bit looks pretty good on NQ from our lows. I really don't mind this upside push. We'll have to see how we interact here as we come in to test like 515 and 530. But I'm not mad at it so far. I'd love to see if they're going to be able to continue this initiative that they did from these lows. Yeah, I mean they're doing well. And they're pushing into that 530 now. Biddle will try to defend 510s, I think. Pretty two-sided still here. But they're trying to trap into this 500, 510. If I can hold and then we can pop 530, we're good to go, I think. But if we can't get over this 520, 530, and then we breach below 500s on NQ, then we'll have a bit of a pullback. Again, they're absorbing so far into 500, 510. I can't trade yet. I still have a black screen on Tradeify, so I can't really do anything with this, but I am watching it. Two-sided trading here still, 530 to 500. Bid again, trying at 510s. Huge. Beautiful continuation off of our hold there. Pushing into next target into 560. This should be your first target if you're playing off that 500, 510. And then if we step over 60s, we should be able to get some decent continuation here. I'd say to 590 to 610 if we can hold this edge. Beautiful hold there, that low, that 510. As you can see, like it's just very clearly a bid there. Big pop into our 30-second opening range now. We're testing our 30-second opening range edge now. Trying to hold it as supportive here. Again, just this 550, 560, we're wanting to see this bid, and then we can start to rotate back up through it. Again, 590 is your ORM, and then 610, 620 is your ORH. So we just held that area of interest, and now we're in this range here. And we're watching to see if from this hold, can we build here and then go for a pop like this. Not a ton of participation here yet. Sell side really trying to shove this thing back down to retrace this. We want to see them get eaten up, and then we want to see that bid step over 580, I guess 570. They're trying. This looks good so far. Want to see a little bit of more effort here at our edge high at 70. And then we should be able to look for that rotation. We want to see this initiate here. Yeah. That's your first target, the 90, if you're playing off that edge at 50 to 60. And now let's see if we can step up for that final move up to ETH high for the full 30-second opening range retrace. We're going to hold that. Still very two-sided here, 590 and our 550. Just holding the mid here at 70s, looking to see if this bid will step up. POC is shifting here on NQ. RTY divergence of the same. Great. I'm not mad at this yet, but we have to watch to see our edge here again at 50 to 60. If the offer wants to lower and retrace down to 520 first. Just watching to see what we do as we push down. This will be our retest to let us know if we're going to 520. So we push into 50 to 60, I think. They're trying to rebid it. So far being absorbed into 70, trying to push us back down now below. If the offer can stick that, then again, we'll just retrace this squeeze up that we did into 20, where it's so two-sided still. 60 to 70 needs to flip with a hold of this 40 low if we're going to go up. If not, right, like they're just absorbing into that high into 60, and then they're going to sweep below, and then we're going to go for that liquidity into 20. Dude, my Tradeify is still not loaded. What is this? They're still just taking in size into 60 to 70. Again, if they sweep below 40s, we go down to at least 20. We need to see 60, 70 go bid, or we're just retracing this. I don't know if it's going to lead to anything crazy here, but I do see that absorption that occurred there into the 60 to 70. They're now trying to offer that 40. Let's see what they do. We're just trying to find liquidity for this flag to form. 40 is now trying to hold. That should be your first tag there into 20. And then you leave it as a runner and see what we do here. Lots of buying at 500 to 510.
Future ratings on US consumer spending say lower
down.
oil prices could ease the squeeze if sustained.
Now watch to see if we find a bid here. Russell continuing to lead down. So this POC in our high, failure to establish above, which is what we were going off of here. All right, so we have this node here that we built out. We're now back to our buyer here at our 500, 510, looking for an initiative bid and some sort of trap, or we're going to do the opposite, which is find a bid here, lower offer, and then flip down. We want to see a very clear look back above this for me to care. So really just watching to see how we initiate here. Because if not, then this is just going to rotate back down, right? We want to see an initiative bid and then a step back above this 60 where this POC shift has happened to establish above, and then I'll be bullish. Right now, this is just a potential re-offer as we come back up into this. So really watching to see what we do here at our 500, 510. This is a great first risk off if you're playing off of that, and we need to see if we're going to be able to get through this time. Remember, 60 to 70 is our flip. Beautiful trade from our 500, 510 low. Again, from that bid. Now let's see what we do here. Buyers can step up. Good trap into that low. Watching our 60 to 70 now, seeing if we can get the flip. Still willing to take it in 60 to 70. There's only buying on this candle so far, though. Looking to see if we can build this higher low out. Got a good ledge at 70, so as soon as we can flip that, we should be able to trade up into like 600, 620, I think. We can see any sort of sustain here. Come on, figure it out. We're testing our POCs here, 3 of them stacked on NQ. Beautiful. There it is. There's your flip. Now we're trading into our opening range high as well as our ETH high. Watching to see what we do. We'd love to see 90s now bid for that pop into our final targets here into ETH high, and then just try to leave a runner. See what they'll do. Failure to sustain here at this top edge at our 80 to 90, it will probably lead to a rotation back down to 70 first if we don't show us a clear hold here at this like 90. Just really want to see this like 85, 90 hold this edge and then go for highs ideally. Or again, we'll probably have to come down to retest our breakout at 70. See if they can just do it now. Good hold, good hold. They're trying to initiate here. Pushing in the target, 620. Come on.
In 10 minutes time now, at the bottom of the hour, we see the release of the weekly EIA natural gas change, forecast for a build of 76 BCF on the prior build of 108 BCF.
They're taking a decent size here into 600, 615 so far. Still holding our 85.90. There's no issue there, but it's very two-sided. I think that 70 is very likely here. We can't breach over that 600 again. Reoffering 600 now. Watching for our dip here into 70, see if they are actively willing to defend. We're just testing POCs from the other side, that's all. See what they do. Right, we've got this very clear ledge here into our 70. And we just dipped into it off of a failure there. And now we're watching to see how our offer sits into the 600. And see the node. Oh my god, my chart's loaded. Got to get over 600 for anything more. A lot of absorption up here, like I said. It's really all we care about at this point. We pop this 600, then we go to like 670 for sure. If we can get over this 600, 620. If not, then this is going to be the high. They're still taking in size here. We need to see a very initiative bid step above this. Or again, like that's all you get. I took off one here from our 70s into our 610 and watching to see if we can sweep this and then hold it as supportive. If we can, we go to 660, 670 pretty quick, I think. Good hold, good initiative bid off of our lows, off the POC shift. Hopefully you guys were willing to take that off of that little node. Very clear flip here. On ES, we're headed to our 68 to 74. And now let's see what we do. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Again, I think it's like 670 to 700s on the table here off of this hold with that guy who just got trapped at 600s. If we can continue to see this initiative bid, that would be sick. Got a huge node below us that we can now test into and look for initiative buyers to try to hold the higher low. I'm watching our like 615 to 600 for a rebid. We can hold that. We're in good shape. If not, GG's.
In 5 minutes' time now, at the bottom of the hour, we see the release of the weekly EIA natural gas change. Forecast is for a build of 76 BCF on the prior build of 108 BCF.
See what they do here. Want to see our very initiative bid like we just talked about off this node where we took all that size. So far, okay initial reaction. Nothing crazy yet, but good reaction where we thought. We may see it a bit more. Stops at 595 here. Watching to see if we can continue to take in this bid. Just in runner, looking to see if I can add here. That would be the ideal situation. I don't see an initiative yet. I want to see a pop higher first. I don't want to get trapped down here. If we can step back over, I'll be happy. If not, then like I said, it's over. If they weren't going to be able to initiate there. Because now we'll retest this and offer it. Coming back down to our 70. 70 is where the bid is. We now retest 600, 610 offer. I can't believe we didn't initiate there, to be honest. I'm like pretty surprised. I'd like to see a retest and flip of that for me to care again. I don't like that we stepped out of the way on those buyers. As soon as we lose that, where we saw that absorption into 600s, like I said, it's GG's. Like if they weren't going to initiate there over the flip, now we have to watch for the retest because now it's a bit concerning. I think ES funds a bit here, but we have to watch to see what NQ wants to do now. I'm not willing to play it until we flip back above 610s personally on NQ. Watching for an ES reaction here at VWAP. Russell here at 70, 72. I'd like to see a reaction, but NQ I won't touch until I see price action that makes sense to me. It just feels like the bid like stepped out of the way, which I don't like. We had like everything set for a pop, and they just like fizzled out. We should see a bit of a bid here on NQ as we push down into 500 again. But again, I need to see a bit more excitement from these guys. 500, 510 has been our level in the sand.
1 minute remaining for the natural gas change.
They took in a little bit there. I think we retest 550, 570 for offer from this 500, 510. That'd be my guess. Russell leading down. Yes, now holding offer. This got really bearish really quick, short term. Just watching to see how they're going to initiate on retest for me to care either way.
Ten seconds.
Into our 500, 510, watching our lows here into our news.
A build of 73 BCF. It's a build of 73 BCF, lower than the expected build of 76 BCF.
They're still initiating. It got incredibly bearish, incredibly fast. I'm not sure why.
We have posted the weekly EIA natural gas storage change report on the feed for those interested.
Trying to flip our pivot here again. Again, 500, 510. We're just watching to see if this guy's going to step back in now or like if this is now offer. I'm not sure. Watching. I don't really understand this rotation we just did. No.
Natural gas futures extend gains up around spot 4% following the EIA report.
Bid trying to take in here at 510. We can hold this 510, 490. We should go back up to 560. Two-sided here. They're trying though. If this fails, I think they're going to keep trending down, trapping here into 520. And then we'll look for the reoffer below 490 if we flip it. See what they do. So far, size being taken in into 520. Offer trying to now flip that 490, just like we talked about. That guy is now trapped at 520. Watching to see if we continue to offer here and then flip below, or if we can continue to bid and then start to show interest over. That's all I see. I see this action is atrocious. Okay, this is our target here into 70. Let's see what they do. Good flip of our pivot off our 490 hold into 70s. Should be our first risk off, and then let's see what we can do with this. This is our daily POC retest now as resistance, 570 to 600. Where all of these buyers have been getting absorbed up here. I'm hoping that that was enough of a trap down at our lows to now do something with it, but we've got so much work to do. So we'll see. I have no bias up here, just in a runner from our 530 float. There's so much like absorption into these highs, into 600. This would be your next risk off into 590 to 610. If we can flip this, then we're good to go. If not, then that's all she wrote. Pushing into a target now, 610. Again, just a ton of absorptions happened here. Until we can flip and hold it, it's going to be the same as before, where this is just going to be an area where we had a ton of size trade on a look above, and all we did was trap and then rotate down off of it, right? So I need to see us show interest here as we push in, or this guy is just going to take, and that's that. This is POC from that candle where we started to initiate down after that trap. And just like before, we'll want to see an initiative bid at this like 50 to 70 from this. Any sort of like test in needs to be able to hold and start to show interest
Shares
above.
of US energy firms fall as oil hits the lowest since the start of the Iran war after the ceasefire deal. So that's Chevron down 2.2, Exxon down around 3%, ConocoPhillips down 2.8.
We need to see initiative bids up here that actually can do something, or again, like there's not much to talk about. This is our 570, 550 area where we need to see that initiative bid step up from our failure at 610s again. Very clear absorption there. Now watching to see if we can flip the seller on retest and hold, or if it's just going to be another reversion trade to 520 off of a failure here. Holy Kevin, it's been a minute, man. Again, failure to show interest here at 550, 570. I think we would rotate back down to 520. So it's really imperative that we show interest and then can pop over 600, 610 from here, or this will just be another failure to establish above this absorption. I mean, he's not like going to be actively trading in the Discord. He's around still, but he's not like looking at markets. Yeah. This should be your first risk off if you're playing off of the 570, 550. As we push back up into our highs here where we saw that absorption. Again, until we can establish above this participant here at our 600, 620 with this absorption into 610s, there is not much here. You want to just be moving up stops or keeping it break even at your 570, 550, and just letting it come back to break even if we fail to establish above here. Testing into it now. Should only be in a runner as we challenge this guy again. Let's see if we can flip it. We had a good hold at our 570, 550. But again, like this guy is strong here, willing to take in. We want to see a good flip, a good bid, and to get us out of here. Any failure above is just going to result in the same rotation down again, trapping. This is our value high in the daily on NQ. ES into our absorption here as well into 64 to 68. ES NQ trying to establish above. We'll look, but no takeout of highs as of yet. Let's see if they can do it. Again, just move your stops up if you're playing off that 550, 570. Need to show clear initiation here. Yeah, no, you should. Because if we fail to establish here, we have to then see that bid step in at that 600, 610, just like we did last time. And if they fail, then we do that same rotation down, trapping liquidity here. It's very important. You can see like our value on this candle is here. We need them to fucking shoot this thing. This is our pivot here on ES. I want you to see how we play it. Previous day value high here on Russell as well. We want to see initiative bids here now. Try to take at 600, 620. Good job, good job. Let's see if we can establish here. This is ES into our pivot, RTY into our value high. We want to see a pretty clear initiative bid here, like I said, or we rotate down to a 610s, 630s don't hold, I think. It's the higher low. And then we're just retesting our absorption at that 600, 610 area. So let's see if they can establish higher, or if that's all we get for right now and we have to retest our bigger pivot. We're trying. Watch for your pullback on Russell and ES before you try to really initiate here for a secondary move. We want to see those bid. We're seeing some initial takes
at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, expecting the US Vice President Van's press conference.
But again, we want Russell and ES to show interest, or we will just have trapped into these highs, and then we're going to fail here again as we push down until these names find their lows. I'd like to see an ES initiate here at 60, 61, that area. And I'd love to see Russell ideally hold 78, but it can come down as far as 75. Just watching for bids here. We have pivots that we're looking at across the board. So if we can get these bids, then that makes sense, right? In our areas of interest. Just need everything to move together. Good hold so far. We need to get over 30s, where that's where that offer will sit for a lower high.
We have posted a live video on the feed for those interested.
Same as before, right? Like if they fail here, there's not much we can do. They need to initiate here into our 600, 610. We flip back below 595s, like it's just kind of over again. Russell needs to be able to hold here, push. Yes, just got to our pivot. We're watching to see for a reaction. Let's see what they do. If not, we reverse and rotate back down off another trap, which, I mean, it's fine, but like if they don't want to initiate higher, they don't initiate higher, right? So we need to see a very clear bid here, or it's just going to rotate again. $630. Remember, we got to flip that. Well, that's the offer point.
Reminding in 5 minutes' time, expecting comments from Vice President Vance in a live stream.
Let's open lots up.
Germany's Chancellor Merz rules out further EU debt ahead of budget debate.
Oh, thank you, Rory. I don't know, boys. 630 offer is still holding. Pushing back down into our 600, 595. Russell testing highs. A little divergence here with NQ lead down with Russell back into our pivot. They're still initiating here, but like if they leave again like last time and like the bid just like steps away, like it's just fucked. My stop's at 594.50 on my runner here. I'm just in from a 607 average. I don't know. I mean, it's either holds or it stops me out. I took off one into 630. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, this is it. It's the same thing with 66s here on ES. They're just willing to take. The problem is like we have huge absorption on Russell as well as we push into these highs into 88 to 92. So like we'll do all of this work to get up there with NQ and ES flat, and then Russell comes up to our absorption into our 30-second opening range, and then it just peters out anyways. That's the issue, is if we don't see like a pretty strong initiative here to actually do something with this, is that like RTY just loses all momentum as soon as we pop into these highs, potentially. It's like, oh, okay, great. We had our higher low, but then they take insights here, and then
Europe must strengthen defenses as US scales back.
That's the concern for me. And again, like it's very clear to see that like all these guys are kind of screwed below here, or sorry, above here. But we're not seeing anyone really as a catalyst for sell side at the lows. We just have buyers offside at the highs. So we need to show that initiative. They're trying over 630 now. Let's see what they do. Out one here. Again, just stop at 595 in my final contract now. Playing off this 610. Again, I'm a bit worried about Russell as we push up into this high for a loss of momentum into 88 to 95.
So shortly expecting comments from US Vice President Vance, giving a press conference. Again, we've got the live video on the feed.
ES held where we needed to, but this is our 30-second opening range on both ES and RTY that we're pushing into now. These highs and to our pivot. This is our look below and fail. It's the same thing, but from the other side now, right? We're just looking into it and failing. We need to step above and hold. And again, Russell here into 88s is the only thing I really am concerned about. Still, they're just taking here on NQ. New-15s.
So the US had to sell $89 billion in 3-month bills on June 22nd, settling on June 25th. 6-month bills are selling $77 billion as the same expiries. $69 billion in 2-year notes on June 23rd, settling on June 30th. They're selling $70 billion in 5-year notes, June 24th, settling June 30th, and $44 billion in 7-year notes, June 25th, settling June 30th.
Watching reactions here. If they offer this now and then step us below, then it's over. But this is a really important area to let us know which way we want to go.
So Amazon are in talks to sell NVIDIA rival chips to other companies. We're also just seeing some more comments from the Treasury with this auction size announcement. They say the result of the 5-year note auction could result in unscheduled reopening of 7-year notes of Series M2031. If the auction of 2-year notes results in a high yield in the range of 4 to 4.124%, 2-year notes will be considered an additional issue of outstanding 5-year notes.
They're trying to take it into 30s here again. We're watching, see if they're going to hold this and then rotate us back below. That would then trap all this liquidity here at 530, or sorry, 630. POC is sitting at 610s of this candle. They're trying to reinitiate with trapping this liquidity below. We need to see a very clear willingness to hold this now, or again, it is going to be all this trapped liquidity above us. And that was a reoffer, right? And as soon as we step below this guy, then we start to initiate down. So we just did this move. We are now watching to see if they're going to sweep below, or if they can now defend this edge here incredibly aggressively. Right? Or
shares moved up
all
to
of this liquidity is then offside, all this
8%
liquidity is
now
offside.
following the headline that Amazon are in talks to sell NVIDIA rival chips to other companies.
So this is your risk right now, and we're watching to see if we can flip this. Two-sided. We're trying to lower it now into 20s. We need to see a very clear willingness to take and hold below 95s. If 30s flip again, then I think that sell side loses here. Testing now. They're trying to lower the offer, right? So we went from 650 to 630 to now 620. Now testing this 20 to 30. We just failed to dip below 595 and hold. So those guys are trapped down there, but we have absorption here into these highs. So we're now watching to see if this 610 to 600 is going to initiate again, and then we can flip, or if they're going to continue to take, and then this is a lower high. I don't have an answer for you yet. I just am watching what they're doing. Again, this is a lower offer. We're in our range. Until we can flip above, I just am not a huge believer, especially with this Russell weakness starting to happen. Just watching. We have our pivot, right? 610, 595. If they can hold that and flip, then we go up. If they hold it and it on the other side, then we go down. If you're playing off of 10s, this of course is your first risk off. Into 30s, they're still just willing to take here. There's no change until we step above, like we just talked about. Pathing is clear on the 15-minute chart on stream. Step below or step above, right? Either we continue to trap here, and then we see a clear sweeper, then defend this low for the continuation down, or you're range bound between these two until we can figure out which way we want to go. I would assume choppy market until Russell finds a low. Your options are this halfway back or VWAP below the LBN. 630, 650 is where we're seeing sell side initiate and absorb these buyers who are trying to really push through, but a lot of effort, not a lot of ability to move. So yeah. But what they did do is defend that low. So they've got that going for them. Just like at that low at 95, we need to see an initiative bid step up here above value at our 40 to 50, or they just take again and then we rotate it, and it's just going to be a garbage balance until Russell finds the low. Again, like without full participation in this market, you're not going to get a great breakout. It just is what it is. And if you are trying to seek that, it's going to be very hard for you to not just get stopped out on either edge over and over again for no reason. Right, like it's very clearly we're trading in a rectangle. So until we break out of the rectangle, don't expect anything else. So you either trade the edge low on the recovery, right, or you wait. Those are your options. We are trading within a box. This is the box. So if we look outside of our box and then we look back inside, then we rotate through the box. Until we can actually hold the box edge, there's nothing here. I cannot reiterate that enough, that you're going to get continuously stopped out trying to be preemptive when all you have to do is the higher low or the lower high, right? And then you play the rotation through and leave a runner. Just watch for initiative participants to actually be able to take and hold outside. Hold outside. As soon as we enter back in, we rotate through our known auction. It just is what it is. So we want to see an initiative participant here, or we're going to trap once again, just like we did here, and then we found a higher bid. Just like here, we're watching to see if we're going to trap now and then rotate back through, or if we're going to be able to sustain here. We want full participation from the market. Russell holding where we need right now. ES coming back up to our main pivot. See what we do. Can we get this initiative bid? Leave a runner. Go for it. As soon as if we fail here to establish at this high, we will rotate back through. I need you to understand that. It is fine to try for expansion, but you have to have clear stops at our edges. All right, let's see what they do here. I'm sure they'll retest it. If that peters out, then the move's over. We'll rotate back through again, trapping all of these traders above. If we can hold, awesome. Then we get expansion. There has to be a initiation, right? A willingness to take and hold and show willingness to bid at our highs where these sellers are. And these sellers have to step out of the way. We want to see a very clear hold of this value area. Just going to move this down just in case we do get the pop. And then I will draw our rectangle once again. Let's watch our retest. Again, this is just RTY into our 30-second opening range high where we know that there's a ton of absorption, where we lose all momentum in the market. This is ES into our pivot as well. Let's see if they initiate here, or if we'll fail. I mean, if you're stepping out on the edges, it's the same problem that you had every day that we trade together, Ben, which is you try to be preemptive on the move for no reason, right? So you just need to go through your checklist. If you are taking trades and you're not going through the variables that need to be met, then you are emotionally trading, right? Like that's the answer to your question. I already know it. Have we broken and showed a clear hold of our edge? Has it invalidated or are we sustaining? Do we have full market participation in the move or no? Are we seeing a sustained bid? Have we looked back in? If we've looked back in, why are you not stopped? Right? Play the other side. It's the same thing over and over again. This is why I'm being so clear about these edge holds. They need to happen or we will rotate back through and there's no reason for you to let it go to the other side of the trade. Either we sustain or we fail, trap, and then rotate.
The Fed bids for 4-week bills total $4.3 billion.
We have entered back in. We are rotating back down to our 610, just like we talked about. If they fail to sustain the highs, we will rotate our range. ES back to POC and VWAP here. Russell, potentially one more leg down to VWAP would be my guess. Like, I need you guys to understand, like, again, we want full market participation, and if all we know is that there's absorption above us on all three of our markets, like, there's not much we can do until we can show interest above that absorption. It's going to be choppy range trade until we show that there's actually willingness to take. What does a market look like that's trending? What does it look like? Does it look like this, where we have flat value and we're trading on an inside candle? Or does it look like POC is holding a supportive and continuing up? How will we know when we break? What are we seeing right now? We have offside traders on either edge outside of value, right? We're trading in an internal candle, right? There's no change here. Every look above has failed. It's balanced. So what are we going to see? Well, when value from our previous candle starts holding a supportive, you'll know that we've shown interest in we're going to break the other side, right? Like that, it's very clear when balance breaks because we start holding previous value as supportive. This is your first risk off. You're playing the internal rotation that we talked about, right? We just did the look above, the fail, the reoffer, and the rotation through, just like we talked about. Just back to our 610, 595. We want to see if we're going to hold this edge or not.
So keep in mind in 10 minutes time now at the bottom of the hour, the US is due to be selling $70 billion in 4-week bills. The prior high yield was 3.595% and the prior bid to cover was 3.13.
Holding the last candle value or the overall balance value, it's the same thing. We're flat. POC has not shifted in the last 3 candles. It's the same POC. It's the same point of control. It's the same node. It's the same value high and value low. Everything is the same. It's just our balance, right? Like there's no shift here that's happened or taken place. Look, put a fixed range on it. Like, don't be an idiot. Are we holding above or below our value high and low? Or has there just been an excess that's created on either side and then do we rotate through our value? Right? Like this isn't crazy. You just need to use your brain. Right? We have no interest above our value high for this entire area. We know that this is our mid pivot here at our 610s. And we know that if we fail, we go back down to our 560 and to our value low here. So our range, right, this is our current balance here and to here. We are showing no willingness to trade below POC and hold or above value high and hold, right? This is the box that we've been talking about. And I said to fade the edges if we look outside and then look back in. Until then, right, it's just balance. It just is what it is. There will be more trades when we have clear trend. So if we don't have clear trend, what should we be looking for? Either no trade or balance trades, right? Until we can show interest at our value of our previous candle and sustain it, we will continue to trap outside at our lows and then rotate through. right? Like what that it's a pretty like what are we not understanding? Hold of our value high equals we go up. Failure to sustain above our value high equals rotation of our value. Sometimes I feel like I should just not talk for extended periods of time because everything I say you take is like, we're going up now. Like, no, I'm telling you exactly what needs to happen for price to initiate. We need full market participation and we need to be able to get through this absorption or we'll continue to chop. I told you that Russell loses all momentum here. ES is at our pivot. There's no change until we flip above. Failure maybe here. We'll watch to see what they do. They're trying to trap below, right? Sell side is trying to step down. They're trying to initiate and hold this 595, 610. We're watching to see if they can maintain a higher low here and get us up for another rotation, or if they fail and we actually start to sustain this and then we rotate down to 550. Let's see what they do. You can see them really trying into these lows.
In 5 minutes' time now, at the bottom of the hour, the US is due to sell $70 billion in 4-week bills. The prior high yield was 3.595%, with a prior bid to cover of 3.13. And the press conference with Vance is now starting. Again, we've got the live video on the feed for those interested.
Holding a higher low so far, needs to step over 610s if we're going to do anything new.
US VP Vance says 12.5 million barrels of oil went through the Strait of Hormuz last night. Vance on Iran says Iran did not shoot any ships overnight. So he's saying nearly a dozen ships have gone through the US blockade. Vance says that Iran is honoring their side of the deal so far.
It's my first risk off here on NQ off our lows, rotation through our range like we talked about. Just trading a rectangle until we can actually fade an edge. We've now done the full value rotation of our current candle into our seller here at 30s. It's been the same first risk off of every test into 630. We know 650 above is our next level of interest.
Vance says there are real divisions in Iran on how to proceed. AP News say the US approves a plan for AI data centers to connect to the grid. Shortly expecting the results of the US 4-week bill auction.
Lower offer, stepping down now, trying to defend our 95. Let's see if they can actually do it. This is the first real test that I've seen that seems like it has potential with that 630 offer there that we just got. And then the clear sell side rotation back down to our lows. Lows just taken. Watching to see our reaction here at our base. Can we hold the bottom of the rectangle now, or is it going to fail once again? Looks good to me so far, but we'll see. Full value rotation here.
So we've put the full article by AP News on the feed for those interested.
You see how they're taking on footprint at 95s? This is what we want to see. But if they step over 610s, like it's donezo. It just is what it is. Like they have to initiate here. I'm stopped on that. If it's not clear, I'm not trading it. So we'll just continue to rotate this, and it's going to be awful. I'd rather be stopped than give back an entire rotation.
Vance on Iran says the 60-day period begins today.
Retesting our offer here. Holding value of our previous candle so far. Just watching. POC is sitting at value low of our previous candle.
Four-week high rate of 3.58%, 3.58% with a bid to cover of 2.99, 2.99. So the US sold $70 billion
Watching
and
see
awarded
if we can step this down.
64.65% of bids at high.
Looking to initiate here again with our look back below. We'll see.
US VP Vance on Iran and missiles says we do expect as part of the final deal that Iran won't have missiles that threaten the entire world.
Holding so far. We want them to sweep here. They just refuse to do it. Good shit. But where's the follow through, man? Just slam it.
So the dollar yen extending gains, it's now above 161.
Well, one here into 540 from our 595. Just, they need to slam this thing, man. I don't know why this is taking so long. We have so much offside liquidity above us. When we see a side absorbing on the edge, what's that tell they are about to fail? It doesn't mean that they're about to fail, but it's an area where we need to start watching for the turnover, in my opinion. So, like do you see, like, look at the sequence here. It's much easier to spot on ES. ES is, like, incredibly clear, where we actually have trend. NQ is the much harder beast here. But we have this clear POC hold here into our highs, and then we have a clear POC hold on our next candle, and then we have a very clear POC hold on our next candle, and we have this trend down that's happening. ES, we had way more of a trappy situation where we were trading in this box, right? Our 95 here to our highs. So we were trading in this box. What we do have is this offside liquidity above, and we know all of this absorption is happening. We spotted this absorption all the way back here. on the first look into this area. We knew this area was going to be tough. What we knew that needed to happen is we needed full participation from the market to actually breach this, or it was going to act as a resistance. We knew that. We knew that ES's pivot was here at our 68s. We knew that this was our 30-second opening range on RTY, and there was a lot of absorption above us. So we knew that there was a lot of potential for a meltdown. The problem is that NQ, instead of initiating and doing something with it, decided to chop here and continue to take in size for an hour, right? So now you have to fade the edges and wait, or stay within a trade that's going to be, net negative or net neutral on you while we hold the high and the low while we rotate down. So what we were watching for is for ES to start to initiate below, right? And start to actually get some sort of trend down. And we were looking for Russell to also have that follow through instead of just rotating. And we knew that as soon as we were able to initiate at our 630 and start to show that offer stepping down below our 595, that we were able to actually do something with it. Were there failed attempts? Yes, there were, right? Because there were continued attempts to fade this edge that did not happen, and then we rotated back through. But what did we see on our last candle here? Why was this an important hold, and why was I expecting this sweep, and why am I talking the way I am? Well, because we saw the reoffer, right? So we have trapped liquidity above. Oops, wrong tool. Like we said, we have this failure here to shift. So we looked in like this. We rotated back up, failed to sustain above 30, right? That's where we said the offer was sitting. So they take in size, and then what do? What do I mean by flip? Well, where the offer was where the bid took in all of this size at our low, we then rotated back up to this high. Now it's up to the buyer to now initiate here and push. Or what do if they exhaust here? What happens if we exhaust into our highs with this buyer who's shown size in this POC up into our highs? Well, we flip, right? We go back down, and then that becomes our offer for our rotation. Because now all of that liquidity who tried to initiate over 30 is now trapped off sides. Right? We rolled through that entire price leg twice. Does that make sense what I'm saying here? Look, this candle is this action here. Right? This is our 11:15 candle. What did we do in this candle? $11.15 to $11.30. We failed to take out highs. We went to our lows, offers low step down, and we then initiated below and then rotated, right? So they tried to trap into the low of our edge, like we talked about over and over again. Again, this is our bottom of balance. This was our midpoint at 630. Remember, 660 was our high. So this is our balance we've been looking to trade around. If they fail to push above after finding this low and we can't sustain above, then all of the liquidity that tried up into these highs is now offsides above us. And now we're then holding it as our offer as low, right? Again, POC is at the high of this candle. If we then take out the lows after transitioning through that candle, what is happening in that auction? Again, we started at the low here. We then initiated up. We tried to establish our POC. So POC shifted in this candle. We need to do this to continue higher on the open of our new candle. Or what happens? What happens if we transition back through value and then close below value after doing a full value rotation on that candle? Where are the initiating participants? Sorry. Where are they? We can see it. Again, what is this candle representing? I'm going to go to just a regular candle, total. What did we just do? We did a full value rotation in a single candle and failed at our high. Think of it as a value rotation. So if we open below and we bid back through,
can temporarily
and then we saw no interest at our highs, and then we closed back below, what is that? What is that? Is this now our risk? Have we shown no interest above? Are we now showing interest at our value low edge after a value rotation down? Guys, like if these concepts don't make sense to you, you need to go review how a volume profile works. Like I'm serious. Again, what is our checklist? We wait for full market participation. Do we have a downtrend? Do we have trap traders above? Are we offering the edge that we want, or are we rotating back through our value? Are we holding our edge? What were we looking for that entire rotation? For us to hold an edge. So when it actually does, you won't want to participate. Why? Were we able to sustain above value? No, right? So this is what we just did. Again, if there's no willingness to sustain above, what are we watching for? What if this was a daily profile and we saw this? What has happened on the attempts above, and what has happened on the attempts below our value? Well, we've rotated through, right? Every attempt has failed. So what do we need to see for a shift to occur? Well, we want to see a lower high, right? We want to see something get put in. So we've got traps above. We have a clear reoffer and a rotation through our value. That's a trade. That's fine to take. And then what do we need to see to initiate on our next leg? What do we need to see? What are we looking for? Do we want price to rotate fully back up? I mean, yeah, sure. But what are the clues, Ben? Do we want price to do this? Is this telling us that we want to do something new? Or is this just full value rotations from edge to edge? What's the difference between this structure here and this structure here? What's our context clue that we can form? What happened that's different? What's telling us that balance is potentially shifting? Break below lows and reoffer value. One is full balance rotation. The second is it rejects POC. Okay, so we've got a good answer in chat, and we've got a good answer in Discord. Right, so we've got two things that are happening, right? We are seeing the offer lower. There's not any more interest to do full rotations, right? So yes, we rotate back down to our lows. We trap liquidity. We get a potentially decent trade here if you wanted to play off of this risk by looking for the higher low for rotations back up. What does it mean when we see a failure to establish above POC on these temps? Well, that's our seller now holding POC to value, right? And we're seeing them take in size here at 30s. And we say if they can't establish over 30, that this is it, right? So what we're now watching for is we've seen the failure at 30. I'm not taking this as a trade. I'm looking for this to now hold and try to establish below what? Our 610 to 595 that we've been screaming about for 2 hours. Why am I doing that? Well, because we saw an initiative participant on the sell side rotate us back down, and now is holding this offer and defending lower highs as we're pushing down. Right? And we have full market participation for this move. So if we're now willing to hold our value low edge after a POC rejection with a catalyst of our trap traders above, and we're seeing this absorption step down into 630, this now has a lot more meaning to me right? Because we've done the value rotations. We've seen a very clear shift where we took out our highs, buyers failed to initiate. We got a very clear rotation through our range, and then a very clear reoffer, and then a step down. So now our risk is here, right? As long as we're maintaining this, we're just looking for that breach and hold. Right? It's a failure to establish above. So we're now looking for the establishment below. When you say size, when you say taking size, you see that on your Tradeify bubbles? I mean, I just see it on footprint. I see it on our delta profile. I see it on the DOM. I see it on our delta axis. And you can see it across the board. Right? Like, look at, again, like we can see it on footprint here. Look at the size that was taken in here. Is there a shift that's occurring? Look at what happened on the last rotations. This is like very neutral, buyer and seller, right? What's happening here that's different? Well, they're slamming it, right? They're trying really hard to push this thing down. And then what happens into these highs? Well, it's just like the bid attempting, but very thin. And then they sweep and then they push. Right? Like, it's very different. It's just, this is the last time they attempted it. It's like that, but times 2. But yes, you can just see them looking. Again, like, I've been identifying the same traders over and over again. It's just with the delta axis. Like, that's all we're seeing is, like, we know that there's a incredibly willing participant to take in size at 610s, and we know there's an incredibly willing participant to take in size at 630. So if we are starting to hold below them and we're starting to see that lack of interest, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're fucked. But again, it's just a value break. All you have to do is wait for the rest of the market to get with the program. I think ES is the much easier trade here. It's just a very clear value hold, trending trade down. Right? What do we know about this auction that's taking place? We know that there's a seller here, right? So what do we do into our highs? Well, things start to fizzle out, right? We fail. Can we do anything with this? What does this entire fixed range look like? What does this look like up into our highs? Is there anything that we can see here context-wise? So if this is our entire range for the day, and we've now established here off of the highs, just like on NQ, right? What are we looking for to happen? What are we watching for here? Right, we tried to establish and move value up, and we failed. So we've got this seller sitting up here into our highs. We have this new range that's forming, and then we have our overall distribution. So when we start to see a lack of interest outside of our value highs, and we start to see sell side push down and start to hold it as POC, our last POC as resistance, right? We're looking for that initiative trader to be here. right? We're looking for these buyers to be stuffed into our highs, and then we're looking for them to sweep below and try to close below value on our next candle. And then we try to hold that as resistance for these rotations down. Those are the trades that are going to be really good for us because now we have an initiative and we have a reason. Just like on NQ, right? Price starts at our low. They try to bid back up and hold this for this rotation up. They fail. So what we're doing is then we're rotating back below it, and then we're closing below that value low, and that leads to rotations down. Again, like it's either we establish and hold our value and we look for rotations at our highs, or we establish and hold our value low and then we rotate down. Every failure to do that is going to result in rotations back through the range. It just is what it is. We're into our value high here, watching our reoffer, see if they hold this or if we're able to do something new. This is just a PVZ rotation, right? We've already established this value without my drawings. It's just, it is what it is, right? We already have this marked for you automatically. This is our PVZ value high. This is our PVZ value low. This entire balance is already marked for you. All right, let's see what they do in the open of the new 15. It's the only thing that matters. We're back into our range here. We're trying to bid 610, 595 again. We've held our lows, rotated. Now pushing back up, watching to see how they establish themselves. Watch our footprint candle here. Look, we just did this rotation, right? We just pushed all the way from down here, found a bid, rotated up, and now we're trying to establish here into where our sell side was last. Watch it, how they're participating here into these highs. You can see them show. We can see where that active buyer is, right here. We're looking for them to try to push price above this because now we know that sellers have established themselves into this on this high on this candle. You can see it. So what happens if they fail to establish here and that this seller pushes in and then holds this into that candle? Well, I would expect something like this then. Again, we're just in our auction here again, 595 to 630. We need to show interest above this. We can see them trying to establish off this edge. They're trying to push now. We know that there's a buyer now willing to try to take at 610. They're trying to push over that and then go. If this guy fails, right, we're going to be looking for this instead. Because we can see them trying to establish themselves here.
According to Politico, the White House delivers Iran agreement to Congress.
Let's see if we can get the bid. First look over 630, that showed decent willingness. Watching to see if it's going to be a fade or if we can hold. Watch these highs. Just watch our interaction. You can see where they're initiating, right? The green and the red. And just watch as we push what that looks like. Get a feel for it. Get familiar with it. This is how you're going to be able to tell. Just watch it. You have to be able to see these things live so that you have an understanding of how it works, the dynamics of it. Why are you staring at a footprint if you're not going to actually read the footprint? What's the point? Watch how it develops. Who's taking in size where? Who's offsides where? Where are the buyers and sellers on that candle? Where's POC? Sorry, Kevin, you came at a weird time. Later, man. It's good to see you.
Surely expecting the Freddie Mac numbers.
So what did we just see happen here into this upper auction? What just happened? Describe it to me. This is your 50 to 60 offer. It's your first risk off if you're playing off of that 30 flip. Yeah, right? So Zeno says they took in and then they swept the buyer. There was a sweep from buyers. Yeah, so there was like a real lack of initiation here in their mid. There was a bid to push
US
above
and
our
Iran
tens.
declare immediate and
then the
permanent
sell
end to
side-
military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon, according to the text.
Sell side tried at 6:30, and then we saw a sweep through, and we're now seeing this really active bid trying to step up to get us over our 50 to 60. They're being taken in so far into these highs.
So
You
right,
just
this
see
is
them
a text that was sent
hold
to
this on retest,
Congress.
or we're going to
and
try
White
out.
House provides text of interim US-Iran agreement to Congress that the US-Iran declare immediate permanent end to military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon.
So let's see if they'll take in here again. We're retesting now. But we can watch them, right? We can watch them try to take in here so we can see the size going up. We can see the buyers trying to initiate. So what happens if these guys fail with all of these buys and the highs? Let's say instead we see sell side step below and then we see that offer step in and then it comes really red. Well, all of these guys will then be off sides and are high, right? This initiative that's being taken place here to try to push us higher will have failed. And then we know where that seller sits. We can see them. So where do we want to see that sweep then below if we're going to go down? Well, we just watch this, right? As long as we're maintaining this, we've got the bid who's trying. We know exactly where we want to be. Right? We can literally see it. And then you ask me, like, how do we see a rebid? It's like, oh, it's literally there. We just watched it happen.
Source from the text sent to Congress that the US and regional partners to develop $300 billion reconstruction and economic development plan for Iran.
They're taking in decent size up here. I don't know if we're going to be able to hit the break. There's just no initiation above 84s on Russell, man. It's the biggest limiting factor we have right now is this 84 to 88. We would need to see something like explosive happen on NQ to be
VP
able
Vance
to...
on Iran deal signing in Geneva says our plan is to go, not sure exactly when.
do something new. There's just no interest above 50 to 60 on NQ.
Vance has it. Technical talks may start sometime this weekend.
Watching our reoffer 50 to 65 here. See if they hold the lower high. We're in a really tight auction between 50 and 30 on NQ.
Vaughn says, I might go to Switzerland tomorrow, but it depends on Iran. Vaughn's just saying on technical talks that he's going to lead the US team.
Good hold so far of our lows, retesting into our 50 to 60. Watch to see if we continue to take. As long as that 20 to 30 is holding, we're in an okay spot. But if we can't show any interest here into 50 to 60, then we get a lower high, and then we look for the sweep below 20s for continuation down. It would be a clear lower high and then auction. So just, again, really keep an eye if that pathing set. See if the rest of the market can find this low as well. Or if they're going to trap into our known absorption that we've identified. 50 hold so far.
Shares of SpaceX extending
Back down to our
decline
30.
to 9% now.
20 points instantly. No follow through though yet on either side yet.
Vaughn says US troop withdrawal will be to pre-conflict level.
Yes, sir. Good rotation off our hold. No look below. Sell side's trapped into that 30. Bidding and pushing back above value. Let's see if we can see an initiative buyer here where all these bids are into our 60 to 50s would be ideal. Failure to do that, right? We're just going to see that exhaustion happen again. Watching to see like a really clear initiative bid here if it's going to hold. Nothing yet. Trying now. Gotta get over 70. Offer sits there. The amount of effort that's being exerted up here is insane.
Seeing a piece here from the FT that Iran is to get access to $6 billion of frozen funds to buy US goods. Also from the FT, they say money held in Qatar to be released in phases under interim deal with Trump administration. Further detail then, Trump administration will allow Iran to access $6 billion of its oil money held in Qatar to buy humanitarian and non-sanctioned goods from the US under an interim deal between Iran and the US. The move forms part of the billions of dollars in financial incentives that the administration is dangling to ensure Iran commits to memorandum of understanding it signed with the US on Wednesday and to follow up nuclear discussions. That concludes comments from Vance. We have put out the article as well in the feed for you to read through.
Not much to say. Same sellers before, 60 to 70. We're just trapping between our 20 to 30 and our 60 to 70 while we try to establish either these guys are going to be offsides and then we'll look for that sweeper below like we talked about, or we'll just chop here, sustain, create a new balance, and then look for the breach and hold. Right, just put a fixed range on this area now. But we've got this very clear POC to sell side that we need to shift below for downside. All we're watching for is this buyer going to fail into these highs, and then can we see that secondary seller step in to rotate us back down through our range. If you're playing off of our 20 to 30, this is your first risk off into 60 to 70. It's the same trade. It's the same rotation. Nothing has changed. We need that flip below, or you're playing the wrong side. Watch to see if this 60 to 70 holds offer. This would be where you'd want to be shorting if you were looking for a short for the balance rotation. With our hold of our lows, though, I think we look okay. We'll see what we do. I just have to adjust this because it's getting a little small. Yep. But with that trap in the low at 30, there's potential if we can show any interest over 70 for a decent move here. They have to like initiate, or again, it's just gonna trap into these highs. Let's see what they do. A great hold of our lows. Initiative buyer at ES at 64. Russell pushing as well. So that's a trade that gave you literally zero drawdown at R30 and gave you full rotations. All you had to do was not fade a supportive hold. That's literally all you had to do. Gave you your plan. Buyer 20 to 30, offer 60 to 70. You take your first risk off into 60 to 70, you leave for a continuation until we flip below. Yeah, 695 is definitely where you're watching. Let's see what they do here. And again, it's like, how did we figure that out? Well, we watched it take place. We saw where the initiative bid was and where the seller got stuck. Right? Like we saw it in real time, and then we established our level based off of it. And if you didn't have that, well, like it's just a PVZ hold, right? Like it's literally just a value high hold. But we saw exactly what we needed across the market. POC hold of our lows, POC hold of our previous candle on breach, no ability to push below. This is our risk, right? We know that this is what we're watching for. PVZ has us going to 715, but I think 695 is a great first target on the flip. And then let's see what we do.
SpaceX bankers are preparing for a bond sale of at least $20 billion. On state TV, Iran's supreme leaders to issue a message shortly before the end of the war MOU with the US.
What time is it? It's 12:28. I expect the day to get worse and worse as the day continues on.
So again, no specific time given by Iranian state media here. They just say that it will be published in a few hours.
It's just usually like end of day into a short week is pretty gross, but we'll see. You've got like just like who's making decisions to do anything new, right? Into a short week close. We're holding where we need to right now, but nothing like worth like initiating new trades off of. 60 to 70 is fine, but like the participation is Like they might sweep that low at 60 if we don't get this move soon, just to go for new liquidity. So you really want to see the 60, 70 to hold, or they might look for a liquidity grab below that wick here if we can't initiate higher soon. New 15s have just opened.
So according to an Israeli Now 14 report on X, they say the political echelon approved the IDF to open fire in the areas of Blue Line in Lebanon. Senior IDF officials will clarify the new procedures to the field echelon in the coming hours. In addition, terror infrastructures identified in the area will be destroyed soon. Again, that's from a Now 14 Israeli reporter on X.
Again, we just need to see them initiate soon, or we're going to have to take out this low first, would be my assumption. Especially with Russell fading still into our 84 to 88. Let's see what they do. We're holding where we need to still, but the longer we sit here, the more likely that idea has potential to play.
So IRNA just saying that within an hour, Mustafa Khomeini is to deliver a message. The other Iranian news sites just saying that in a few hours.
Back to our highs here. You're playing off this 70 to 60. It's your first risk off. Watch to see if we can build above. I think we'll probably go to 95, but we'll see. Russell retesting previous day value high. Yes, into our value high.
Spot gold falling now 1%.
You're playing off our lows, the same as before. Just look to see how we interact here into our highs. Took my first risk off into 95 here. Just like I said I was going to do. 60 to 70 continues to maintain, pushing into our highs. You've got 95 and you've got 715 above on NQ's targets. Just tagged 95s. So see if we can build above value of our current candle. Value high is sitting at POC of our previous candle on ES or on NQ. ES held value, no problem. Just pushing up into target. This 69 to 74 on ES. Russell still rejecting our pivot where we've been seeing that absorption at 84 to 88. No change there. I've taken off 2/3 of my positioning from 70 into 95 just because I have no clarity if we're going to continue. We have the ability to hold runners, right? But we want to make sure that we're profitable on this trade if it fully comes back on us. Big size taken there, 700s. Yeah, I'm just holding my runner and then I'm done. Go to our secondary target here. Yeah, no, that's good. Do you out a bit more here as we push up? And now just trailing. Yeah, I probably will. I've got to find a good stream. What is it on? Maybe I just buy it. So I don't have to deal with the hassle of trying to find a torrent. Peacock? Peacock, of all things. What the hell? Dude, I don't know if I can even like justify buying a Peacock subscription. what even is on Peacock? Love Island, oh boy. I don't know how much more we're gonna get of this move. It's about that time. It's just like holding runner now. It's just like, see what happens at 700 on this retest. Hello, Garoto. K barbecue sounds good. I almost had that last night. Our Korean barbecue here is not the best, sadly. Like we've got like a couple spots that have like unlimited. And we have a couple like decent places, but nothing that's like blow your socks off. It's like the one thing that we don't have that's amazing. I can't click that video. It's going to be so loud. All right, wait. Let me mute YouTube real quick, and then I can click it. No, it's because YouTube is going to be so loud. I don't want to hurt their ears. Oh, who do you have money on, Grotto? I think if Mexico had their full squad, it would be like a pretty easy dub, but I don't know. Because you've got what that you've got what's his name? Cesar, who got that red card on the first game. It's like their top defender on Mexico. Yeah, Montez, Cesar Montez. He got a red card. That's like Mexico's top defender. Um, I don't know. So I could see this being like a stalemate game, to be honest, unless someone makes a mistake. It's like 0-0.
Fed bids for 5-year tips total $3.6 billion.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tie. It's either like it's some sort of tie, either 0-0 or sure, like 2-2, whatever. 1-1. I just don't think like either of them have like a big advantage right now. Later, Ben. Because Korea has injuries as well, I think. So it's just like both teams are not at full strength. The audio
The US
sounds
Treasury
bad.
says they're imposing sanctions on Hezbollah-aligned Lebanese officials and others for obstructing Lebanon's peace process and delaying disarmament of Hezbollah.
Why does no one tell me that? Why do you guys wait until I'm about to leave to tell me that the audio sounds bad on YouTube? It's a classic if I've ever seen one. I don't even know. I don't think the audio changed, but maybe it did. Is that better? It should be better. If it was on the webcam, we'll know. Yeah, it was on the webcam. That's crazy. Well, thank you for letting me know. I don't know why it defaults to that. It's so annoying, man. Every time I turn on my computer. Oh, Roy, let me show you the place I ate at last night. It's called Amba. It was like pitch black in there, bro. It made no sense. Ugh. This restaurant was dark. I thought I was like, I don't even, so odd. Never been in a restaurant that's like pitch black. It's like high-end Indian fusion. I don't know what to call it. It's like a bunch of like tapas so you share. So we got like 12 things as a group of 4. It's like, I don't know, like $240 for the meal or something like that. No, for total. 2 per person. Hell no.
Trump on Truth Social says there is no $300 billion payment to Iran by the US. That's fake news. All there is for the US is success, low oil prices.
Oh, maybe this is better.
Again, Trump on Truth Social says there is no $300 billion payment to Iran by the US. That's fake news.
We got the pineapple cucumber salad, the 2 orders of the clay bread, the chickpea fritters, the fried zucchini, the samosas.
With the 5-year tips, looking to sell $24 billion in the 5-year tips reopening. Prior high yield of 1.367%, prior bid cover of 2.57.
The roasted eggplant, the Turkish fried eggs, the lamb kofta, the spicy sloppy joe keema, the herb grilled chicken tikka, and the salmon, which isn't on the menu on the website. But it was like actually pitch black. The photo on their website is not not real. That's fake news. Fake news. I thought I was like on a Dune set. It was between that place and this place called Il Rione, which is like a pizza place. I was like, that's kind of lame going for pizza. But I really want to try that. It looks so good, man. This place called Il Rione. Check this place out.
It's a bit of a prep then ahead of the 5-year tips. The gap between tips and conventional treasury yields represents the expected average inflation rates over the life of securities. And for 5-year tips, the so-called break-even inflation rate has dwindled
Good bid so
to
far.
about 2.28% from this year's peak levels over 2.7%. You had the CPI that rose over 4.2% in May from a year earlier, most since April 2023. And the $24 billion auction is unchanged in size from the previous comparable sale. Treasury stopped expanding tips auction sizes last year. Primary dealers' position in tips maturing in 2 to 6 years was about $6 billion in the week ended June 3rd versus $3.5 billion average over the past year.
They're really trying to shove this thing down. 70 bids still maintaining, but we're not seeing enough initiative up in these highs. Need to get back over like 85 for anything, or this is just going to be an offer and then a step down into 50s for that liquidity grab. This is them initiating into the 50 touch off that failure to get over. Watching to see what we do here into our zone. Yes, still holding where it needs to. This is just a retest of our previous range. Now that we've taken out that low, see if they find a bid to actually do something with it. Gotta get back over 75s from our 60 touch. Or it doesn't matter. We'll rotate back through.
$5 minutes ago now to get the 5-year note tips, 5-year tips, with a prior bid cover of 2.57, prior high yield of 1.367%.
They have to get exhausted here, and then we have to step over 75s immediately, or we're going to rotate down to 35 would be my assumption. We need to exhaust into this edge, and then immediately bid above this 70-75, trapping into this low, or we will fail, and then we will rotate through. Russell leading down. Solid bid in 50s, watching our 75 on as we push back up. Again, this 70-75 has to flip from this initiative here if we're going to do something with it, or it's going to fail. I really believe that. It's watching now. They will try to defend this and fade it. Just testing into POC of this candle, right? We just initiated into that low and trapped below that value. And now we're trying to step up above value of this candle, right? That's why this is so important here at that 70-75. Just like we talked about on that previous test, right? Like we have a transition where sell side has failed at this low after trying to just push down, and now we have a bid
US
trying
is
to
forced
initiate
lift the
back up.
blockade on all Iran maritime traffic.
We really want to see this now try to show, right? If we're going to have this as our trap into our low.
US military says on Thursday, US forces lifted the blockade on all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports and coastal areas. According to Mexico's abroad, Mexico, US, Canada to discuss USMCA virtually July 1st. US says that they're not impeding transit of vessels to or from Iranian ports.
Retesting POC of this candle, 70-75, seeing if the bid can hold here. Failure to establish here is just no change, and then we'll be watching for them to try again at the lows. Really important that they try to establish here, buy side. We'll look above, not a ton of follow through.
Also, reminder at the top of the hour, we get the Baker Hughes data before the US holiday. US military says naval ships will remain in the area to make sure US-Iran agreement is adhered to. Surely expecting the 5-year tips auction data and also Baker Hughes.
News coming out here soon. Let them play. I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard because it's in America, right? So, yeah, that's the thing. I feel like if it was
10
anywhere
seconds
else,
to
they
the
probably
when
would be
issued.
able to, but we've got like a lot more pull because it's in America this year. 60 to 70 held, bid, push highs. Just took off another contract there.
1.96% for the when issued. Again, for the when issued 5-year tips, yield about 1.96% before the $24 billion auction. Just waiting on the Baker Hughes data to come through now.
My stop is at 60 on my runners, just so that I don't lose money on this trade off the flip. 70.75 is really where we want to see this initiation hold, but just giving it a little leeway because I've made money already. Let's see what they do here. Might be a little volatile into our news.
Seeing dollar yen rising about 0.5%. Total recount of Baker Hughes 563, 563.
They're going to stop me for sure here. Yeah.
And Baker Hughes oil recount 433, 433.
I'm going to let this settle before I try to get back in.
It's now waiting on the tips data. High yield of 1.955% and a bid cover of 2.61.
Offer at
So primary
75.
dealers take 3.43%, direct 27.99%, indirect 68.59%. The US sells $24 billion of 5-year tips at a high yield of 1.955%. So that's a stop through of 0.5 base points.
I'd love to see this engage here again on this look back above. Let's see what they do here. Same as before, just watching to see if this flip can hold now.
So it was 5-year tips yield falling after the auction.
Good hold of our lows.
At around 1.921%.
In from 90. Let's see what they do. I want to see if 75.85 will hold. Need to see an initiative bid. Taking off my first risk here into 700s. Good little scalp. 75.85. Beautiful. Out one more. Looking for 15 ideally. There it is. Out another 5. And it's a runner. Just let it trail. Huge. Full rotation on ES here into our 30-second opening range. I only have 5 micros left of my 20 that I had there from 75.85. Closed most into 7.15. Now just watching to see if this is going to fully come back on us or not. 81.50 average. Break even. Yeah. That's probably it for me as well, to be honest. See if we either hold or if that's that. I don't really want to trade ES 30-second opening range, personally. But we've got good targets above if we're going to keep going, if we can flip this. Got previous day POC at 90 on ES. Got our ETH high at 80.
500 and Nasdaq 100 extend gains to session highs.
Just going to be watching to see how we interact as we push into these guys. Good hold of our lows. Good rotation. Now watching to see if we can get this. Go for something like that. Or if this is just going to peter off here, and then we're just going to rotate through this again. With another failure under these highs. Key is to get back over that ETH high so we can head to POC from yesterday. Failure to establish above that ETH high is just going to fade this market out again, and then it's just going to be a reoffer below 69s.
So according to Semaphore report on X, citing Senate Republicans, or one Senate Republican, says there's a high level of dismay among Senate Republicans about the Iran deal. One senator says that adding it's unlikely that a final deal with Iran is ever reached.
I mean, if we can hold this 60, we've got a good chance to head up to that 600 on ES into Monday. Like a pretty solid chance. Just need to establish here. Failure is just going to be awful, though. But it'll be a nice trade. Below 40s. Can't believe we're still just trading within our first hour of the day. Just taking off another 2 here on NQ. I have 3 contracts left, 81.50 average. Just in case we can't breach these highs on this attempt. And then I'm just going to trail those. I don't really want to manage them actively. ES is at our 30-second opening range. Russell's in our 30-second opening range right now into our absorption here. Trying to hold above day open. I'll be much more interested if ES can show that it is willing to take over 74s, and then we can look for rotations up to just this VPOC, I guess. Oh, I'm so excited for roll week to be over, man. Oh, get me out of here. If it was up to me, I would never trade a short week. And I would never trade roll week. It's just not worth it. A lot of liquidity up at 580 on ES. If we can get over the 76, we go to 80s pretty quick, I think. But 76 is your first little offer here. Let's see if they step out of the way. But 80 seems very likely at this point on ES.
Just getting reports from Iranian media that Hezbollah started a series of military operations named Ashura operations in response to repeated violations of the ceasefire by Israel in southern Lebanon.
Beautiful hold, beautiful continuation. Again, just headed up to our 80 here on ES as soon as we were able to flip that 76. A lot of absorption up here, like we were talking about. Decent size, just taken in at 730s on NQ. See what they do with that. We'd want, ideally, the 720 to 715 now kind of hold on NQ on retest, to be honest. If we can't get over this 30 here.
ECB's Escriva says energy costs are spreading to services and transport. So, reminder, Iran's supreme leader is supposed to be making a statement at about 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, but there's also sources from Iran that says within a few hours. But it's there in the calendar just in case he does.
Later, Zeno. Yeah, I just have one runner left. I mean, we're like so far past where I was expecting us to go at this point, so just trailing it. I don't know. I mean, levels are set. Like I said, I'm just trailing. I don't know, man. I think that might be it for me. Slowing down quite a bit. Some absorption in our highs. Let's watch, see if Russell finds a buy here. This would be my last area of interest as we come down into this POC shift. Do we find a bid here into previous day value high, which is now our POC on the day? Let's watch, see what our reaction is here. Because if not, we're just going to revert back down, and I'm not going to sit here for that. Pushing it down. I think we'd want to step back over 710s and bid if we were going to hold this low and trap. Watching our offer now. If it defends this edge here at value, then we'll rotate back down to like 670 would be my assumption. The value of our previous candle here, I'd expect a bid at 690 and then a test of 710s, unless we're just going to sweep through this 90. If we sweep through 90, then we head back to that 70 like we talked about. This is our test to see. Do they hold? Do they hold this? Do we rotate down? Or can we, from here, oops, flip, show supportive, and then retest our edge high? We can see that pivot on footprint as well, like where here, and then that value edge here, right? That's all I'm highlighting. Just watching the relationship between these two, right? How we react there. If you're playing off of that 90,
Comments coming
this is your
through
first risk
from
off here into
Iran's
20.
Supreme Leader Khomeini on X. Nothing so far of importance.
Expect your sell side to be sitting here into 20 into 30 on NQ. 90 bid low was good. Failure to hold our 10s. We can see that the
So he
bid is
just
now
said that he
trying
granted
there
permission
aggressively
for the memorandum of
on
understanding.
footprint. All right, we can see that flip in the open above. Really important flip. Now watching to see how we interact here into our highs. This is where that absorption occurred. Yes, pushing into POC of that candle as well. And big bounce off of Russell where we thought. I'm about to head out soon. I just was doing a couple last trades while I've got dinner in the I've got lunch in the air fryer right now. I'm heating up leftovers. So I figured I might as well trade while I'm doing that. But yeah, I'm about to head out. I was just playing this rotation here with Russell finding a low. But it's just a POC retest on ES. So until we show interest above, it's like, not a ton here. Ideally, this 700, 710 area, 715, whatever you want to call it, holds. Just this flip if we're going to continue. And then we just push. Need Russell to continue. Watching this build here. It's getting a little heavy in our highs unless we can take out that value high. They're taking in decent size into 35s.
ECB's Escriva says baseline scenario is subject to considerable uncertainty. Also, Iran's Supreme Leader just adding that future in-person negotiations that are going to take place don't mean accepting the enemy's point of view.
It's getting real heavy. Yes, looks bad. With that POC test coming back down to our value of our low. Need to see like quite the bid here into these guys. A bit concerned about this.
Supreme Leader Khomeini says that if the American side wants to be too demanding, we will not accept it. It's again in regards to the MOU and negotiations. Scriver says the scope of destruction of oil production is unclear, and it's unclear how long recovery of oil production will take.
Yeah, I'm out of here. This is getting too tight for me, and I don't want to stay for another 2 hours, so I'm just gonna leave my stop at this 708. My average is 715 on this final contract, which is what we're trading right now. If we can't get back above this 25 to 30, I'm gonna get stopped and it's gonna rotate fully back through. So it's really just a matter of, do they continue to take in here? If they do, right, I get stopped on my final contract, and that's fine. This would be just a retest and a lower high for a rotation like this. But I'm gonna go let the dog out, and then I'm gonna go eat and watch to see if we get something like this, or if we're gonna shift and get back below value into end of day. I don't, like I said, I mean, we've got our main levels. It's just, can we build above
so
here?
according to Israel's Channel 14, says Trump said to them that the US would back Israel if it attacks Iran.
Or is this going to fail
According
and
to
rotate?
Israel's Channel 14. Again, saying Trump said that the US would back Israel if it attacks Iran.
But not a huge fan of this action that we're seeing here on these.
Just keeping an eye on oil markets, just seeing a little bit of movement towards
bad.
the upside. Not really a significant amount, just a bit of a rise in tick strike. Again, as the comment came through from Israel's Channel 14 that Trump said the US would back Israel if it attacks Iran. ECB's Escriva says significant uncertainty on expected price trajectory. Escriva adds that uncertainty about oil prices and inflation transmission. Escriva says there is uncertainty about second round effects regarding wages.
Okay. Goodbye. Again, my stop's at 708. Average 715. Goodbye. Charts are fine still, but this looks awful into these highs. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think it's a great short opportunity until we flip below this 90 and could hold it, but it does look like it might be balanced here for a bit, just between, you know, here and here. If we can flip above and hold, it's great. Then we have targets above. If not, then right, we're just gonna cut down. But I'm fine staying in this as long as this is maintaining.
Materialize.
We just need to see that interest above. Again, this looks kind of balancy to me, unless someone's going to step in and initiate here. But we've got these guys outside of value, and then we've got these guys outside of value where we bought our first contracts. So now it's just a matter of what are we going to do? But Russell held our pivot, pushing back up. ES has just this big ass resistance above us with our 30-second opening range. Yeah. All right. Peace. I'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.